Well, it's Monday morning, and today I'm going to be flatting the dead fly residue and any other imperfections out of the front bumper. Now you can see I've taped off any of the vulnerable areas. I don't want to touch them with flatting paper and ruin something else, so I've took the precaution of taping off anywhere where I'm likely to be near during the flatting process. Don't get me wrong, I'm careful when I'm doing it, but it's an added factor so that I don't end up having to do more work than necessary. So I shall start and get flatting, and we'll have a look later on when it's flatted down. See you soon. I thought I'd try and give an explanation of really what I'm trying to do. In this panel particularly, you can see there's a lot of fly residue that's embedded in this paint. But alongside that, if you look past the flies, you can see where the stones have been hitting the paintwork. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm just doing this bit here, is I'm trying to take the lacquer down enough to get as much percentage of them out the lacquer as I can. Now I can't keep chasing after everyone else. There won't be enough lacquer left to polish. But what it is doing is removing probably 70% of the marking. The other thing it's doing, it's actually taking the orange peel out of the bumper, and this will enable me to give more shine, and it'll disguise the light diffraction that you're getting here in all these little tiny pinholes of where the grit and stones have hit it. So basically I'm taking the level of the lacquer down to remove the lighter little dinks. It'll leave, you know, quite a few of the deeper ones, but I can't chase everything out unless I'm going to repaint the front bumper, which we're not going to do. But there will be a massive improvement on what this looks like. So I just thought I'd explain from the perspective of me looking along the panel at what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm not, you know, going to try and get perfection off it, because I can't, but I certainly will improve it no end. And, you know, this is the highest impact panel, the front bumper. And if I can get this looking more than reasonable, then, you know, it's the hardest part of the job really, you know, with the flatting and everything. But I'm chasing out what I can, and I'll just keep going until I think I can get a reasonable finish. And by my reasonable, I mean a decent finish. You know, it's but I can't chase everything out. I'd love to be able to, but I don't want to break through and then have to have the bumper painted. So I'm going to do what I can, and we'll see what the results are later. Right, I'll do a few more sets. See if we get the flatting marks out. Just keep going until we get the desired results. Using a 1" in these areas, and then I'll get a 3" out in the bigger areas. This interchanges anyway, so I can remove that and put a 3". So I'll see you in a bit. Well, although I haven't been able to get all the rash out, you can see this is flatted. I've started the other side, so this is about as good as I could get it. There's plenty of rash there, but when you look straight at it now, you don't see all them horrible stains, and got a lot of the rash out. There's still a lot there, you know, like I explained, can't get it all out. Now I'm just starting the lower part of the car. I've polished the carbon fibre parts up. I've also polished the headlight. They're covered in rash as well, but clean them up. And now I'm moving over to this side. Start on this. So results look good. Certainly looking forward to polishing the rest of the car up now. So I'm going to crack on and get this side done, and then we can move on to the actual bodywork. Right, see you later. Right, I'm about to start on the bonnet. Try and remove all the embedded bits of flies, millions of them. Beautiful colour, this, beautiful. Being honest, the gloss levels are good already, but the paint is very grainy, as you can see by the reflection of the light strip. So we're going to see how we get on trying to make that look nice and crisp. Right, so I'll start and see how we get on. Hi, I'm Ted from The Devil's in the Detail. I've been asked a question, and obviously I'm going to answer it in the easiest way I can. I've been asked how I can guarantee that in a Premium Plus detail, how can I guarantee that it's going to come out better than factory finish? Well, the answer's really simple. You've got to remember that robots paint these cars now, and basically the robots think it's Friday afternoon on every car they paint. So if you look at the modern cars, they're really orange peely, and the fact that they're orange peely, there's a lot of light distortion. Now a premium plus detail basically is removal of some of the orange peel, which will give a flatter, more reflective, deeper colour, and overall a better finish than how it was rolled out the factory, because there's no hand finishing with these mass-produced cars, so they're not polished anymore. You know, how you get them is how they come out the factory. So basically on a Premium Plus, we rarely will I use any flatting paper on a Premium Plus unless there's some deep defects. So basically we're knocking the orange peel down using coarse paste, coarser pads, and basically trying to level out, I suppose you'd say, the dimples in the paint. Now if it was a premium concourse detail, then the whole car would be flatted, but it still comes with its own problems. And what I'm going to do in a second is I'm going to show you why we have to keep checking all the time while we're cutting down these dimples to know just how far we can go. Because for a start, it's going to be 3+ stages of polishing, but initially you need a lot of sets with a coarser compound and coarser, in my case I'm using wool, to level down these dimples. Now obviously we're removing quite a lot of material, still not as much as you would flatten it, but there's still a lot of material that's got to be removed to give a crisper finish. Now we're not trying to get it dead flat, it's literally, you know, to try and get the light sharper off the panels. If we wanted it dead flat, we'd have to flat it. You know, you're not going to be able to really knock a whole car down to dead flat using just pads and compound, and you'll run the risk that you will break through with pressure of the pad. But let me just take you on a journey over here. If for any reason the camera goes off, it's because I've messed it up. So I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can see what I'm going to show. Right, I'll just remove the camera from the tripod. Now when we have these cars in, you know, first and foremost we've got to check the paint depths, and as a good base I normally go to the roof and measure the roof. Well, as you can see, there's loads of material on the roof. Now when they're building these cars, they don't necessarily spray the whole car at the same time. Like the boot could be off, the bumpers are definitely off, the bonnet could be off. So you imagine that I've already started and I've done quite a lot of cutting on this side of the bonnet, but imagine we've got 177 off the roof and then we come to the bonnet. As you can see, that's 111, 112 as we move down. Bearing in mind I've already cut quite a bit off this. 118, going down the panel, 124, 140, 132, 140. Just put it on the wing out of curiosity, and we're at 123. So you can see there's a massive difference in the level of material on the roof to the material on the bonnet. Now, the depth is changing all over the bonnet. So while we're cutting, we have to make sure that we measure, because this is the first cut as well, there's still at least 2 more stages of polishing to do to refine this to get more gloss. And when we're using the likes of, I've got a rotary with a wool pad, and I've got an orbital with a wool pad, and the more sensitive places I'm using the orbital, and the flatter places I'm using the rotary. Now I have got smaller rotaries, smaller wool pads, so they'll be used, you know, in different places because of the curves on the bonnet. I don't want to take the edges off, as I've explained in other videos, but we've got to be careful all the way through the job, and it doesn't matter which panel you're working on, the readings will be different. They are not equal. So don't measure the roof and think, oh, there's loads on there, I can just go over the whole car how I like. Or a lot of people think because it's very orange peely that there's loads and loads of lacquer to play with. Well, it isn't the case, and I can assure you, and I've done it myself, is in trying to flat the orange peel out of some of these modern cars, you end up breaking through. So be aware that the orange peel isn't all the lacquer. You know, the primer could be on orange peely, the base coat goes over that, then the lacquer goes over that. So don't think there's loads of lacquer, because there isn't. Now, I think that's probably explained how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, and why I can guarantee that the finish on a Premium Plus will be better than it come out the factory, because it's going to be more level than it was, and so you know it's better than it was. So I hope that answers the question and a few more. I know there's lots of budding detailers out there and who ask questions, and that's why I try and answer as honestly as I can. Right, so I'm going to get back to this bonnet. I'm easily going to spend over a day getting the bonnet to where I need it to be, because it's a lot of work. You know, it's not all glamour. You know, you have to put the graft in to get the sort of finishes that I'm happy with. So I'll leave you with that, and once I'm finished the bonnet, I mean, you can already see, you know, the sharpness, you know, from that finish to that finish. Yeah, there's still orange peel, very, very slight orange peel, but it's still there. And I'm not going to chase after the flatness and get myself into trouble. So there we have it. I'll crack on, and I'll see you when the bonnet's finished. Now I'll stop that set early. This will take 6 to 8 sets to get this finish to match the finish I've got on the rest of the bonnet so far. So doing 16 inches at a time, you can understand why it takes so long to get round. And then obviously this is the first cut, and then there'll be 2 more stages after that to lift the gloss and depth. So when I say that it'll take me more than a day to do the bonnet, it's the biggest panel on the car and varying amounts of orange peel to deal with, so it's not a 5-minute job. Yes, I could get it nice and scratch free, you know, with a lot less work, but that isn't what I'm aiming for. This is a premium plus detail and it's got to look better than it come out the factory. So I'm going to put whatever time it needs into this car until I'm satisfied. So I'll just crack on now and just keep doing the same thing over and over again until I'm satisfied that I can start the next stage. I've still got half the bonnet to cut anyway. At the moment I'm working on this half, so you can see why it takes so long. See you later, and thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. Right, I've completed 2 stages of the polishing today. I guessed it would take at least a day to do it. I'll do the finishing stage when I've done the wings and ready to do the final stage on the wings. I'll do the bonnet and wings together. But really pleased with what we've got out of the bonnet, and it sets the scene for the rest of the car. It's Still got a bit of peel in it, but not bad at all. A nice reflection look. Got a face made for radio. Right, we'll be back on it tomorrow.